Aloha, and welcome to this video on how to submit testimony online at the Hawaii State Legislature's website and how to request the opportunity to offer oral testimony. So if you find yourself looking at this video from the Public Access Room website, it's easy to navigate over to the Hawaii State Legislature's website by going to the bottom of the screen and clicking on the Hawaii State Legislature link. Otherwise, you just go directly to capital.hawaii.gov, and that's where we'll be submitting our testimony from. We'll need to submit our testimony using the Submit Testimony feature on the capital.hawaii.gov website. It's the only way that you can submit your testimony as well as ask for the opportunity to testify orally. And the testimony information is going to appear at the end of the hearing notice that lists the bill or the resolution that you're testifying on. There is no rule as to what your written testimony is going to look like. That's really up to you. You want to make sure, though, that you include the bill number, your name. They don't accept anonymous testimony. Whether you're for it or against it, really up front and nice and out there so that no one has to dig through your testimony to find out what your position is. And then why? Where are you coming from? Are you an expert in the field? If so, that's great, but it's not necessary to be. Maybe you have an experience or your auntie had an experience that this legislation would affect. Stories are really wonderful. That said, you want to keep it short. If you can keep your written testimony to just a page or so, that's really ideal. And we encourage you to use your own words rather than cutting and pasting from an organization's say. It'll just make your testimony all the more compelling. So once you've typed up your testimony and saved it on the computer, you come to the legislature's website. Now, if you don't want to type up your testimony ahead of time, that's fine. You can just type your testimony right into the Submit Testimony box, and we'll see how that works. So on the legislature's website, you'll want to log in. And the first time you use any of the interactive features on the website, either the Submit Testimony, hearing notifications, or measure tracking features, you'll have to register with the website. And that just means you'll need to sign up with an email address, create a password for the website, and confirm you're not a robot, and then you'll be all set. And you'll just click on Login, put in your email address and the password for the website, and this screen comes up where you can select Submit Testimony. If you've navigated away from this screen, you can also find the Submit Testimony option under the Participate tab at the top of the page. Once you've hit Submit Testimony, this form comes up and it wants you to enter the bill or the resolution number. Take a moment here to read on the right-hand side some of the language about privacy. You just want to make sure that you're aware that when you submit written testimony, that testimony is going to be posted on the website for that piece of legislation, and it's going to stay there. So you want to make sure that you don't include any personal information you don't want to share with the internet world. So type in the bill number, and once you do that, the hearing information comes up. Now, if there's not a hearing scheduled, it will not allow you to submit testimony. So the hearing information comes up. It also shows you your full name, which is what it's gotten from the registration that you filled out when you registered the email address with the site. The reason that this full name is important is because if you are asking to testify remotely over Zoom, then you want to make sure that that name matches your Zoom identity. So if I'm John Q. Citizen, but my Zoom identity is Jack Citizen. I want to change this to Jack Citizen so that it'll match my Zoom identity. So when I show up at the Zoom meeting, the gatekeepers will know to let me in from the waiting room. So then you just indicate your position on the bill, whether it's support, oppose, or whether you're just offering comments. You don't know how you want them to vote, but you want them to have certain information. And then you scroll down on the form and you'll indicate whether you're testifying as an individual or on behalf of an organization, and then how you're going to be testifying. Is it just written testimony? That's fine. But if you also want to testify in person by coming to the Capitol, let them know that. Or if you want to testify remotely over Zoom, let them know that. So you have 3 different choices there. Once you've indicated how you'll be testifying, you'll scroll down and then you have the option of either uploading the file that you typed up and saved on your computer by just clicking on Choose File and finding that file on your computer, and then the file name will appear right next to that Choose File button, and then I can submit my testimony. If I don't want to upload a file, I do have the option, instead of that, of typing my testimony into the testimony comments box. So either way will work, but they really want you to do one way or the other, okay? So either you attach a file or you type your testimony in the testimony comments box. And please do one or the other. If you don't have a file that you want to upload, but you don't have much you want to include in your testimony, that's fine. You can just type under the testimony comments box, I support SB 16. And leave it as simple as that. That's fine, but just put in something there or attach a file. And then once you're ready, you'll click on Submit. Take a moment to review your form, make sure that everything is accurate. Once you submit your testimony, there is not an opportunity to change it. So you want to make sure that you're ready. So once you are, you'll just click on Submit, and then you'll get this green box on your Submit Testimony page that shows that your written testimony has been successfully submitted. It's now on its way to the committee. So if all you're doing is written testimony, at this point you'd be done. If you also ask to testify in person, you would want to make sure you note that on your calendar and show up at the hearing at the appropriate time. And if you've also, so this means that you've submitted your written testimony. If you've also asked to testify over Zoom, you'll also have in that green box a little Zoom requested notation. And what happens is that a couple hours before the hearing, that Zoom requested turns into a join button. And so if you requested Zoom, what you'll do is when hearing time rolls around, say 15 to 20 minutes before the hearing, you'll sign into the website, click on the Submit Testimony button just like you did when you were submitting your written testimony, and find the Join button. Click on that. You'll want to, it'll bring you into Zoom land. You'll want to keep the chat panel open and wait for your turn. The chat panel is how the legislative staff's going to communicate with you. And you should keep your microphone off and your video off until it's time for you to testify. They'll ask you to start up your video, and then when they call your name, you'll unmute your mic and say, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, I'm here in strong support, or whatever it is. And note that there may be a time limit. Quite often that's listed on the hearing notice, so you may want to take a look at that again, or the chair will announce it at the start of the hearing. So it may just be a minute or two that you have to offer your views. And remember, once again, this is a public event. It's going to be recorded, it's going to be live streamed, it's going to be saved on and archived on a YouTube page. And don't forget, you know how easy it is to testify. Help to find others who agree with you to help amplify your voice. And if you're at all confused or have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact the Public Access Room. We're very happy to help. And thank you so much for being part of the legislative process. It really doesn't work unless the public is involved. So that's it for how to submit testimony and request the opportunity to testify in person or over Zoom. And feel free to contact the Public Access Room at 808-587-0478 or email us at par@capital.hawaii.gov. You want to make sure you spell capital with an OL. And that's it. Thanks so much and have a great day.